Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the health chat at Nanavati Super Specialty Hospital. Today, we have with us Dr. Amol Joshi. Dr. Joshi is a senior consultant and general and minimally invasive surgery at Nanavati Hospital. He is a veteran of the field and has an experience of over 17 years. He has done a fellowship of Indian Association of Gastrointestinal Endosurgeons and a fellowship in endohernia surgery. So, sir, today our topic of discussion is surgical options in hernia. So to start with, can you tell us about hernia itself and what exactly is hernia?
So, in a layman terms, if we say hernia is basically any organ which uh, which moves from its own position to some different location. So either it can be the intestinal coils coming down in the groin, or it can be a vertebral disc that prolapses out. That is also a hernia, or it can be after surgery if the intestinal coils start coming out of the incision. That is also a hernia, or even during in the brain if the brainstem there is also something called as brain herniation. So any organ that moves from its own place to some other place, that is hernia.
Alright, thanks a lot, sir. That was quite simple. Can you tell us how does it occur exactly in people?
Exactly, there is no cause which is mentioned, but it can occur in any age. It can occur right from a newborn baby to a very old age. So there is no age preference as such. Though the causes for every age are different. In a newborn baby or in a very young person, it is basically a congenital sac which is there that gives a congenital hernia. Whereas in a later age, it is usually a muscle weakness or excessive straining or the laborious work that a person might be doing that can be a predisposing factor for hernia. But as such, there is no exact cause known, except when a patient has undergone any abdominal surgery and then there is a muscle weakness through which the herniation might occur.
Alright, thank you, sir. So what happens if you ignore hernia? If does it advance into more critical stages?
Yes, it's basically it is a very long process most of the time. What we are discussing right now is basically an abdominal wall hernia and groin hernia. We are not discussing about any other type of hernia. But in this case, initially the person might notice a swelling which appears when the patient coughs or when the person strains, and it disappears on its own when he is lying down or he is relaxing. But at a later age, that swelling remains visible even if the patient is sleeping or whenever the patient is relaxing. And sometimes that the person has to manually reduce that swelling inside. But there is a time when even that swelling cannot be reduced manually and it remains outside. And from there onwards, most of the time the complications might start. So the complication might include obstruction and strangulation. These are very life-threatening complications which can occur, and that can happen at any time. It is not that it will happen after 15 years or 20 years. It can happen at any time. So in obstruction, basically what happens that there is the passage of the intestine gets obstructed, and so there are clear-cut signs and symptoms of intestinal obstruction like severe abdominal pain. The person starts vomiting out whenever he's eating, or there can be abdominal distension, constipation. All those things can happen, and this is an emergency situation where you have to get operated maybe within 2 or 3 hours. Second, the most dangerous one is the strangulation, where the blood supply to that part of the intestine gets cut and the part of the intestine starts becoming gangrenous. So it is extremely life-threatening complication where we have to actually cut that diseased part of the intestine and we have to join the rest of the intestine. And it takes a long time to recover. You require an ICU admission. You stay in the ICU for a longer time and you stay in the hospital for a longer time. So it's a very morbid procedure, and in an advanced state, it increases the mortality also. So these are the complications which might happen if you ignore hernia.
That's great. I'm sure the viewers will really like to hear that because during the pandemic we had this common problem wherein patients avoided going to the hospital. Have you seen any patients, doctor, who avoided going to the hospital because of hernia patients, of course, during this period, and later they had to face problems?
Yes, these things have happened. We have had few patients which they wanted to get operated before this pandemic started, but because of this they ignored, and then they assumed that since we have been carrying on for so many years, we might as well carry on for one more year and then get operated once the pandemic comes under control. But few of them have definitely landed up with these kind of complications. As I have already told you that these complications can happen at any time, at any stage. There is nothing, no time limit that after which the complications can start. Complication starts can start maybe within few months after noticing the hernia, or it can take a long time. But it is quite a dangerous situation just to wait and watch.
Right. I'm sure a lot of people don't take hernia so seriously, but I'm sure they will now start taking it seriously and seek immediate medical help. So, doctor, around the discussion, we had one question from Miss Arushi Dikshit. She wanted to ask. Sometimes I become faint or unconscious due to stomach pain. Can that be one of the symptoms of hernia?
Mostly no, those are not the symptoms of hernia. That pain can be because of some other issue. Uh, the commonest symptom of hernia is basically a swelling which comes out on standing and straining and disappears on lying down. So that is the commonest cause of a commonest symptom of hernia. This kind of sudden pain intermittently is usually not because of hernia. That cause has to be investigated properly.
Right. Thanks a lot, doctor. Thank you. So, doctor, talking about the hernia treatment and hernia management, what was the traditional ways of hernia management when you, of course, started your profession?
The treatment for hernia is surgery. There is no other treatment available. There are no pills, or there are no the hernia belts and all those things. They don't work. In fact, they give a lot of troubles. So the only treatment available for hernia is surgery. So when we started, when I became a surgeon, that time it was only the open repair of inguinal hernia which was done. Though in that open repair, we have been putting a mesh while repairing the hernia, so that reduces the chances of recurrence. The commonest complication post surgery in any hernia is basically recurrence. So when we have started using mesh in the hernia surgery, the rate of recurrence has significantly gone down. But now, over the period, there are new modalities which have come in the treatment of hernia. That includes a laparoscopic repair of hernia, and now even going ahead is a robotic repair of hernia for any hernia, even a groin hernia or an incisional hernia or an umbilical hernia. All these three methods are available nowadays.
Right. So, doctor, efficiency wise, how would you compare between the treatment modalities?
So as I told, the most commonest complication after hernia surgery is the recurrence. So efficiency-wise, this means we have to see the chances of recurrence in the respective method of repairing hernia. Though all methods are good, robotic surgery is still is a new thing. So there are not much studies which have happened in robotic surgeries. If you compare an open surgery with a laparoscopic surgery, it is basically you have to be offer the surgery as per the patient needs. If the patient is young, who is a working fellow, or who doesn't have many comorbidities, who has more working life remaining, it is always advisable to offer a laparoscopic surgery for him, since the chances of recurrence with the laparoscopic surgery are very less. Also, there is not much of dissection which is involved outside, so the scars are very minimal, which are more cosmetic. The number of days the person stays in the hospital are less. Usually here in Nanavati Hospital, we admit the patient only for 24 to 36 hours in the hospital. And also post-operatively, the wound complications like infection of the wound or non-healing of the wound, they are almost not there with the laparoscopic surgery. If the person is of advanced age or with many comorbidities where you cannot give general anesthesia for those patients. As for a laparoscopic repair, you require a general anesthesia. For those patients where we cannot give general anesthesia, or those who are in an advanced stage who are not leading a very active life, you can always offer them an open surgery, which is safer and it's a tried and tested method.
Thanks a lot, doctor. Thank you. So we had a couple of questions about the post hernia, post surgical differences, and we'll take that into later into conversation. But just wanted to ask you, with the change in treatment modalities, does the post-operative period also change?
Yes, because the number of days in the hospital are they have definitely reduced. Previously, for an open surgery where we used to admit the patient for at least 2 or 3 days, for a laparoscopic repair we admit the patient hardly for a day or maybe 1.5 days, as I told you previously. Also, the recovery period is much shorter for a laparoscopic repair, where patient can be easily mobilized, and he can join his routine work maybe within a few days. Whereas for an open surgery with a slightly bigger incision, it is more painful than doing a laparoscopic surgery, and usually the recovery period is slightly delayed, maybe for after a patient might require to rest for at least 2 weeks usually.
Right. Thanks a lot, doctor. Can you tell us about the prognosis of hernia repair and how healthier a life can a person live after hernia management?
See, as with the newer modalities, the chances of complications or recurrence are definitely less, especially with a minimal access surgery. But still, the recurrences are known to occur even with the laparoscopic surgery, and we really don't know the cause of the recurrence. So, though very less, or maybe 1 in 10,000 or 1 in 20,000, but still the recurrence have happened even after doing a laparoscopic surgery. Rest, the prognosis wise, or if the patient can opt for any kind of surgery, the prognosis, like what we tell them, that recurrence may happen, but we will take utmost care regarding that.
Right. Thanks a lot, sir. Thank
And
you.
as far as the healthy lifestyle is concerned, there is absolutely no change. What we advise to the patients is for at least 3 to 4 months not to strain or not to lift heavy weights, or not to do any abdominal crunches or those exercises which can put pressure on the abdominal wall. That is what is to be done. Rest, everything can be done, and patient can have a normal routine life.
Right. Because we had a lot of questions if we can resume our physical activities like running, sports, or is there a particular way we have to sleep? So are there any other suggestions on that?
So they can go for a running. They can have a brisk walk. They can also do the treadmill or the cycling or swimming. All those exercises can be done. Only thing is that lifting weights and pranayam, which can put pressure on the abdominal wall, those things have to be avoided for at least 3 months. Or if the patient is doing a heavy manual work, if that can be that if that cannot be done for 3 months, I think that will be better. That gives a rest to the part, and it helps in healing, and the chances of recurrence are less.
Great. Thanks a lot, sir. Sir, we have had a very long and successful hernia management program at Nanavati. Can you tell us a little about that and the number of options for treatment that we offer? Also, a lot of people are also asking, what is the post-operative period like? If is it a daycare surgery, or the patient has to stay for long period? So, can you tell us about that also?
So usually when the patient comes to the OPD, we see the patient, we diagnose that it is a hernia, and when the hernia is diagnosed, usually we advise for a surgery. We do all the routine investigations which are required, all the blood urine investigations. If the patient is above 40 years, we also do his X-ray chest, ECG, and 2D echocardiography. And nowadays, because of the pandemic, we also do the COVID RT-PCR for COVID-19. If all those investigations are normal, we usually send the patient for anesthesia fitness. Or if the patient has any comorbidity like diabetes or blood pressure or any cardiac issue, we do take a opinion from a physician or from a cardiologist or endocrinologist as and when required. And once the patient is fit, we decide about the method that can be used for repair of the hernia. As I told you, if the patient is in advanced age, not leading a very active life, or if the patient cannot be given general anesthesia, then the only option that remains is an open hernia repair, and that can be done very safely in those patients. Those patients who, from our side, from a medical point of view, in those patients where we can give general anesthesia, or those who are leading very active life, we do offer them a laparoscopic repair or an open repair, and then it is the patient choice what they want to do. We usually admit the patient an evening prior to the surgery. We check all the investigations. The next day morning, we operate the patient and we observe the patient for the whole day in the hospital. Usually for a laparoscopic repair, or if it is a bilateral hernia, if the hernia is on both sides, we do put a catheter for those patients during surgery, and then we observe the patient for the whole day, and next day morning we remove the catheter. Once the patient passes urine, patient is discharged. So usually it is just maybe 24 to 24 hours or maximum 36 hours that the patient is there in the ward. Even for an open hernia, if the patient is young and not many comorbidities, and if he has opted for an open surgery, the same procedure is carried out and patient is discharged the next day of surgery. If the patient has some comorbidities and if we have to observe the patient, then we keep the patient for a day or two more in the hospital. At home, patient can do his routine. The routine activity. It is not that patient is supposed to just be on the bed. He can go for a round. He can have his bath. He can have a normal diet, and we call the patient after 7 days, maybe for to review the wound or maybe to remove the stitches.
That's great. That's great, doctor. Thanks a lot. So we'll take some of the questions now. Miss Priya Singh is asking, after how many days one can start to go back to the gym after the robotic hernia surgery, and what are the chances of reoccurrence in the case of gym goers, especially?
So as I told, you need to give proper rest to that part which has been operated. So even if you go to the gym maybe after a week or 10 days, I would advise not to do weightlifting and the abdominal crunches and all those exercises. You can definitely resume the cardio workout like treadmill or a cycling or a cross trainer. Those things can be done. Uh, but wherever it puts pressure on the abdominal muscles, that should be avoided for at least 3 months. Though with the robotic surgery or with the laparoscopic surgery, that period can be shortened, but it is better not to do those exercises for at least 3 months.
Thanks a lot, doctor. Now we have next question from Ina Jaiswal. She's asking, if we are going to compare laparoscopic versus robotic surgery, which one is safer?
As I told you, there has not been many studies in the robotic surgery, so it is difficult as far as to compare these two surgeries. Uh, at present, I can talk about only laparoscopic surgeries, and that is definitely a safe surgery, provided we can give general anesthesia to the patient. So the fitness requirement for both robotic and laparoscopic surgery are the same. That the patient has to be fit for general anesthesia. Robotic surgery especially is useful if the patient has a recurrent hernia, or maybe patient has had a previous abdominal surgeries where we might encounter some intestinal adhesions or something like that. Then in that case, the robotic hernia is definitely better. Otherwise, any other hernia can be done with the laparoscopy as well as with the robotic surgery.
Great, great. Dr. Ayunija Das is asking, what are the risk factors associated with robotic hernia surgery? Any other risk factors you are aware of?
As I told you, the risk factors are same for laparoscopy and robotic surgery. So there is not much difference.
Right. Thank you, sir. Ranu Singh is asking, how should you sleep? Is there a way to sleep after hernia surgery?
There is no particular way to sleep. You can sleep however you want.
Right. So Kashish Singh Dev is asking, is the mesh used for hernia repair safe?
Absolutely safe. Usually what mesh that we use is a polypropylene material, which is inert material for the body. It has no side effects on the body, but it is not absorbed. It remains in the body permanently, and that is basically the basis of putting the mesh. Because if the muscle repair, even if it gives way, since the mesh is there, the chances of hernia recurrence are less. Only problem with that, if by chance if the wound gets infected or if the surgery gets infected, then that mesh has to be removed because it is a foreign body and the wound doesn't heal. But most of the time there is nothing like these infections are extremely rare.
Right. Thank you, sir. Niku Srivastav was asking, how does the surgery affect everyday life even after the recovery is complete? So, any other side effects after the
There is
recovery?
nothing. It doesn't affect your routine life.
Right. Thank you, sir. So, Daya Sagar Swen, again, we are coming to the question of any complications, known complications after laparoscopic hernia repair.
Yes, known complications can be the bleeding can occur during surgery, but that is with any kind of surgery. Another thing is that after, if the hernia is big, for a few days there can be a swelling at the operated site. So which is basically a collection of fluid at that site of the sac. So that remains for usually 2 to 3 weeks, or maybe for a month, and patient might feel that the hernia has not been corrected. Okay, but it is not usually it is not a hernia. It is usually a fluid collection that usually gets absorbed within 6 weeks. So not too much. That is the commonest complication. Another complication can be the bleeding that can occur during surgery. Obviously, if there are intestinal coils inside and they are not reducible properly, there are chances of injury to the intestine during that case. But even this complication is common with any other surgery. Then the distant complication can be infection in the operate, but the operation theaters that we operate we absolutely take care of all this sterility and safety. So these things are very rare. But as I told you, if the infection happens, then that mesh has to come out. Otherwise, the wound doesn't heal.
Right. Thanks a lot, sir. Anyone's signs which are alarming for patients which they should look out for?
As far as hernia is
Yes.
concerned,
Yes.
as I told you, the commonest symptom is appearance of the swelling, where the patient notices, or there can be some dragging pain in the abdomen when the intestinal coils are coming down. As far as the abdominal wall hernia is concerned, it is usually visible to the patient, and the patient comes early. But with the groin hernias, usually patient they tend to ignore it, since most of the time they don't know what is happening, and then they definitely they know a swelling which appears when they are standing, and it goes back when they are lying down. That is the stage when the patient must come to the surgeon.
Right. So painless stage is the ideal stage to go to the doctor, so that it doesn't develop.
So till the complications don't happen, it is usually painless. Once there is a pain, there is a complication, and it is better to report to the doctor as soon as possible.
Right. True, doctor. Thank you. Mr. Manish Edasani, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your last name incorrectly, but Mr. Manish was asking about the Ayurvedic treatment. So, doctor, of course, you won't be able to throw more light about that. But do you get a lot of patients who try Ayurvedic treatment, and how is their response?
See, every person will try to avoid surgery. So, when told, they will obviously go to those doctors who give them a non-surgical treatment. But as far as hernia is concerned, there is no other treatment but a surgery. So it is better not to try all those things and come to the surgeon with the complications. It is a surgery which is absolutely safe. It doesn't affect your day-to-day activities, so it is better to undergo the surgery rather than trying all these things.
True. Thanks a lot, doctor. So, doctor, any last words that you would like to give our viewers or who are watching about the hernia management?
So the same thing that I want to tell is basically not to wait till the complications occur, because to come out of these complications is it is a longer process. You require longer hospital stay, and the recovery is much slower. So once you know that you have a hernia, or your family physician tells you that you have a hernia, you must get it operated as soon as possible, so that as I told you, it is just a day stay in the hospital and you are much more comfortable. So do not ignore hernias. This can be really life-threatening sometimes.
Thanks a lot, doctor. On that note, we'll close the program. Thanks a lot. We have got a lot of messages that the session was very informative and easy to understand. So thanks a lot, viewers, for coming and watching the program, giving your positive feedback. And thanks a lot, Dr. Joshi, for coming here and taking out time from your busy schedule. We will see all of you next week on another Facebook Live with another important health related topic to discuss. Thank you all.
Thank you.